It's like,
What do you mean by like at the same time you feel underwater?
like, and I was like super excited about our session today because I'm like, man, I feel it's almost like, have you ever felt like you're like, yeah, everything's available to me. I have no limitations and no limiting beliefs. And where's all my shit? Like at the same time.
Yeah. You're like, I believe this, I know this, I trust this, I feel it, I see it, but wait, where is it? When
Yeah,
is it
yeah.
happening? When is it coming? Is that kind of how you feel?
It's kind of how I feel. And though it's almost though like I'm not actually asking that question, but it's buried somewhere and it's like it's still there because I'm going, wait a second, like I'm still, but however, all that said, everything is still at this gradual increase. Like everything is still increasing. It's beautiful growth. I'm super excited about all the things that are happening. However, yes, there's that weird dichotomy happening like inside my body. So it's like I'm floating in the ocean and drowning at the same time, which is
So sometimes that happens when you're in the middle of like stepping to your next level. You're like, here's the line to your next level, and here's the next level, and you're like right in the middle.
yeah,
Nez is like, I feel this in my soul too. So
yeah.
this happens sometimes, and let me know if you resonate to this, is when we're here and then going here, we need to get rid of the things that no longer align because we're now ready for over here. And sometimes it's like a cleansing period or like a getting rid of, it could be thoughts, it could be people, it could be clients, it could be anything that's like, this feels unaligned. And some things don't just like, you don't just wake up and everything is like, here's the new vibe. It's like takes time to get rid of certain things. So sometimes when we're in that middle phase, it's like, I feel over here, but something is keeping me a little bit over here. And it's like just a phase of detaching from certain things sometimes. So it could be that. Like it could be like, I feel this, I see this, it's happening, but like some things are still keeping me over here.
Mm-hmm.
I would reflect on maybe if there's certain things, and sometimes we don't have control of when those things go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Camilla says this is resonating too. Totally it feels like exponential growth. And so this is so interesting. It's like it's like all my clients sync up and they've got the same things going on. Because I had this conversation twice with private clients today about
Mm-hmm.
leveling up. I'm happy that you brought this up about leveling up. Like I'm ready for growth. I'm ready for my next level. I'm doing the things that I need to do with my next level. And then it's like, but I got to get rid of the no longer aligned clients, or I've got to like detach from like, I don't know, old habit, old thought, old thing that's keeping me back. I got to rework that so I can step over here, right? There's so many things that kind of just happen that, and it's so interesting. But the more that you, I think, just get clear on what you want, what you desire, what you're stepping into, the things that linger are just naturally going to be like gone, 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 and you're going to see the new things come in, whether it's like new clients, more money, whatever it means in your business. But
Mm-hmm.
is that
Yeah.
resonating, Kenny?
It's resonating a lot because so for example, super like celebration. I signed a new private client yesterday, and it's not even just like we're in a BNI together. So we had like a one-to-one and she already started shifting. And then we had like a chat to figure out which program was right for her. And I mean, just like this has been her most productive week and we like haven't started yet. Like I just sent her gifts today and we start on Monday and I'm like stoked because she's already bought champagne for our celebration. Like this is like, it's so aligned that it's, you know what I mean? And so I can feel that lift. I can feel that space. I know that I am attracting this next level. And I think as you were saying those things, I could definitely feel like there's rules I'm still holding on to that are ready to be released.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing it little by little, like a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago, in specifically in the BI, I was like, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. This is too much. Maybe this was a bad idea. I'm not going to do this more than 1 year, but I signed up for a year. So, just like all these little rules. And it's just like comes back to, wait a second, I make the rules. I get to do the things that are aligned. I get to not do the things that aren't aligned. And I get to know that like there are some things that are aligned that I'm not ready to do just yet, and I don't have to. But that pressure that I put on myself, well, I need to be doing this. I need to do that. It's like I've been this last week and a half, I've been letting go of that and getting back into just the space of trusting and getting back into simply the space of showing up and the embodiment and trust. So all of that feels really aligned and feels really good. I just think, yeah, it's that. And to me, it's like that feeling, like it's harder for me to state what it is other than I'm underwater. I feel like I'm underwater and I'm like trying to swim or run and everything's in slow motion.
You're like so close, but it's like, how do I get there kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can feel it and I can see it, and so much goodness is here. So is it, and I think I'm just in that space of, it's like when the body needs to heal, like, you know, you're getting better and you're healing, but your body needs time to process and release all the stuff. So yeah, that resonates. It's where I'm at for sure.
Oh, welcome to entrepreneurship. We go through this, right? We, unfortunately, but fortunately, this is sometimes what we go through for new levels and expansion and growth, but it's like getting through it. And I feel like the thing is, though, when we can recognize that it's part of the evolution and on the other side is something better, the process of going through the wonkiness is like, it's like we have more faith during it. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I feel stuck here, or I feel like, or, you know, some people say like, oh, the results are just a fluke, it's never going to happen. It's like we have faith that it's going to work, and we're just like, trust that this is the journey, the process that I'm going through right now as we go through this more, the growing pains and all the things. So good. So good. So, there are some good things on the thread that I know they always take up a lot of time, but I wanted to talk about something. I just felt called to it, and I feel like a lot of you guys will resonate with this. So when we have a goal, and like, it's like usually a money goal, a business goal, a thing, like an achievement, and we're like, hey, I want to do the thing, I want to get here. So we're like, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make $30,000 this month, or whatever the thing is, right? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So I get to like the trophy. Then you do it and you get to the trophy and you're all excited. You're like, oh my God, I did it. I'm so excited. And you're in like the high, and then it's over and you're like, I have to do it again. That is when the journey is unaligned. So this is what happens to a lot of people at the end of months. At the end of a month, when you had a big month, you're like, this month was so good. Oh my God, I had my biggest month, or one of your highest months, or whatever. And then it's like a new month. It's like literally you sleep and you wake up and you have this feeling in your chest and you're like, I need to do it all again. Sometimes we take the unaligned path to get to the trophy to feel good for 5 minutes, but we actually don't like the path. So it's like a reminder to everyone that like, yes, we can be high achievers and want to achieve. And like, that's something that's never going to stop. But we've got to love the journey, or else it's going to feel like every month. And who wants to feel like that, like all the time? No, right? So it's like, fall in love with the journey, fall in love with the process, and have the success at the same time. But there's no need to feel like, oh my God, how do I do it again? When you focus on the quote unquote how, is like, you have fun, you do what you love, you sell what you love, you run programs you love, you know, you are the one hiring aligned clients, you're having the time of your life. Like when you create it around that, like what you desire it to be like, and it works, then it works. And you have faith and trust because you do it in a way that aligns. But sometimes we get caught up in the like, I just need to achieve and I don't care how I get there, I get there. And then it's like, well, it's always going to feel icky trying to do it again. And I feel like so many people do this. I hear so many clients talk about this, so many people in the online space, like, how am I going to do it again? What's the process going to be like? They like fear the process. And this is when I always bring it back to my clients and say, like, do you not love the process? Like, yeah, it can be hard, Is this resonating? Like, and I'm sure we've all done it at some point where we're like, okay, I'm this close. Like, what do I got to do? Let me do something. And it's not aligned. And we've all been there. We've all done it. But like, at the end of the day, we choose to do this. So we've got to love it, and we get to love it, and we get to have success simultaneously. We get to have the growth, we get to have the milestones, we get to have the trophies, but we get to love the process. It doesn't have to mean you need to hustle and do something unaligned, do something the way she does it, or the way she does it, or the way she does it. You get to do it your way. You get to do it in a way that lights you up, and you get to have the success. And when we focus on what do I love to do? How can I show up in a way that I love it? The success just comes simultaneously, right? Like, so many people ask me, Steph, how do you do it? But I'm like, I don't know how. I just wake up every day and I'm like, what's fun to launch? What's fun to sell? Like, well, not every day, right? But like, what's fun to do this month? How do I want to show up? I focus on the desire part of it, and then it just works because then we're in alignment. We're running our business from a place that feels good from our soul. So it's just like to bring everyone's heart back, like, do what you love. The success follows, not chase success and then be happy. You know what I mean? So I wanted to share that just as a reminder, as I know, like, it's getting to the end of the month and people start to like freak out, and then it's August, then it's September, then it's October, right? We like chase. And it's like, if we realign now and focus our attention on desire, how we want to do things, what lights us up, the success is going to come. And it doesn't have to require chasing or hustling in a way that's like, if the way that you don't want to run your business. Does anyone want to speak to that? Or how are you feeling in July? Does anyone want to talk about how they're feeling in July? Go for it.
Hello, I'm very nasally, so I've been quite sick this week. And I think that's probably to do with my feels for July. I think, so June was like my biggest month ever. So I feel like I remember when I first got on the Mastermind and everyone was talking about how they have these really big months and then the next month they freak out. And I was like, no, I won't be like that. Like, I was like, I'll be chill. And I'm kind of like that, even though I know, just because it's like you go from having like a really big month to a less busy month. And what happened this month is that I had a lot of one-on-one clients finish, and it felt really like I've never had that feeling of so many at once where they've signed up to 3 months, where it was really just like, yeah, you're like, we're done. Like, we've like, it very much like completed the journey. So that's why I feel like now coming into July, I've had a lot of clients just kind of like finish, and I haven't had like, I feel like I've lost the momentum almost. And I've also been craving like less one-on-one. I think I said that in the Voxer group. And, you know, I got kind of let go of like some unaligned clients, some that I didn't really want to work with long-term. And so I definitely feel like I'm in this shifting phase where I'm like really excited for this group program that I'm launching in August, because it feels really right to do that. It feels like I want to have like a really engaged group, and I want everyone to be helping each other. And like, I'm really excited for that, but I don't know. I just feel like it's not happening too, like, I don't know, there's something like just not happening as like sparkly as I want it to. And then I think on the other side as well, I've also got a group program that's finishing next week. And I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself. A lot of the girls from that feels like more something that I want to continue, but I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself. And for some reason, I can't figure out like what I want to offer them next. And so I'm kind of like almost like avoiding's not the right word, but I'm almost like, I feel like I don't have anything yet to offer them that I'm really feeling excited about, because I'm not sure what the next step is, that I'm almost like not showing up fully in a sense. So I feel like there's a lot of things that are like kind of loose ends, not sure I'm going next, not sure how it's, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm very much in that transition phase.
Yeah. So the first thing I want to say is, it's so funny because I literally just had this conversation an hour ago with a client Voxering me, is biggest month, all the vibes, and then it's like, how do I do it again? I wish I could tell you all that goes away. It creeps in. It creeps in. It happens all the time. It's like, was that a fluke? Oh wait, how did that happen? And then you start to look at, oh, well, this is how it happened. Susie signed, so-and-so signed, this and this signed. Oh my God, you start to like calculate the how, and then it like the how doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So the thing is, this is the shift that I love. and that has helped me and I make things simple. I make things simple in strategy. I make things simple in mindset. I used to do this every month. Now, when the thought comes in, how will I do this again? I say to myself, Steph, we don't go down this hole anymore. Like, this is not the path we go down. This is just not part of the process. I say this to myself, like, because the thought is going to come up. The thought is just going to come up. We're humans of like, oh shit, wait, how am I going to do this? How am I going to keep this going? Right? It's a human thought. The thing is, I just tell myself, and maybe it resonates with you, or you could write it somewhere, like, we don't do this anymore. We don't go down this path. Because as soon as we go down the path, you like waste energy and time going down the path. So that's one thing. The second thing is, if you have a high month and then right after you have a lower month, it does not mean that you're still growing. You're still growing. Right? People think it needs to be high, 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 high. No, it's more like, and you're still growing. You're still growing. It's okay, because we cannot define our success by months. I know we do it as a way to measure, but our success is so much bigger than this. We have a lifetime of doing this. Or, I don't know about you, but I plan on doing this for a long time. So it's not just like June of 2019 or 2020, like what year are we in? July of 2020. You're not going to look back and be like, that was the defining month. You're going to look back and say, what did I do in this month? You know? So it's like, you're going to remember the big things and the celebrations. You're going to remember what you do, but you're not going to remember how much you made. You're going to keep growing. And it's like at the end of the year, you're going to be like, oh my God, in 2020, I made whatever. Like, it's like, you're going to look at your whole year and remember all of it. You're not going to be like, oh, in this month it went up and then down. And then, you know what I mean? So it's just to like, remember it's the grand scheme of things, which is huge. But I do feel like, Nez, like you're similar to what a lot of the other ladies are maybe going through, is like, you're transitioning in what you want, in who you want to coach, and what you want to coach. And you're saying goodbye. You said goodbye to a lot of people, which is good if they're unaligned. But even if they're unaligned, it does feel like grieving, because you're with someone for whether it's a month or 3 months or 6 months or 2 years. It does feel like grieving when you say goodbye to clients. And that's heaviness, right? So it's okay to feel some wonky vibes. And then you're also realizing, oh, I want to do a group program. I want to create this. Cool. Not sure exactly what that feels like or looks like yet. Like, there's still clarity that needs to happen around there. You're finishing a group program and you want to offer a continuation, unclear what that looks like. So there's just a lot of like, you're in the phase, like it's almost like similar to Kenny, like you're in the middle, you're right here. And it's like loose ends, stepping into the next level. What do we have to clean up? So what are some things that maybe we could like talk about? To me, I know that I personally don't offer a continuation unless it feels like a hell yes, this is the continuation, right? So maybe there is no continuation for these girls, or maybe there is, but you're not sure of options, and that's something we can talk about now. So what program is this?
Sorry?
What program is this that's closing?
So this was my 10-week like mindset program called the Peaceful Soul. And normally I never feel like doing a continuation of a group program. I always feel quite exhausted by the end of it, like in a good way. But this one feels like really airy. Like, it feels really right to do another continuation, but I don't know what to do. Like, I don't, because some of the girls in that group program have already done a group program beforehand. So it'll be like they've done like an 8-week one and now they've come into the 10-week one, but then some of the girls have never done one before. So I'm like, do I offer a longer one or a shorter one? Like, I just don't know.
So to me, a continuation is like, this is the new container, and inside this container, like, you learned this here and now you're going to step into here and we're going to do this work. Right? So if it's like an up level from that group program, and in my opinion, it doesn't matter if they did group programs before their first time in a group program, they can still do like an up level thing or whatever you want it to be. My question is, would it make sense to like push, for lack of a better term, for them into your new abundance program, or does that not make sense at all?
I could, but the abundance program that I'm doing is like, this group program that I'm doing is kind of more like a mastermind, if that makes sense. It's a lot more like higher contact, and I really like that vibe, and that's what I want to continue on. Whereas with my, and I mean, I potentially could, but with the abundance program, my idea with that was like very much like a Facebook group,
Got it.
less one-on-one messaging kind of thing.
How many people are in this 10-week one?
8 or 9.
Okay. So you still, so it's going to be still a close. So why don't you like, I would, if I felt like I want to keep something going, I would say we're going to like, and you would know what to do in terms of theme, if there needs to be a theme. I would say, if you still want to stay in this vibe, in this energy, we're going to do a continuation. It's going to look like that, like it could be another 10 weeks. It could be 8 weeks. It could be 6. It could be whatever. And you could just say like, if you loved this and you want to stay, this is what the container looks like. Maybe, do you guys have like a group chat? Is it Zoom? Like maybe you make it a little more close knit, or you keep it the same structure, but say not everyone continues, like only 6 continue, but it's like closer touch then because 6 continue. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that helps. Definitely.
Because most of the time, if people are in it and they love it and they're like, oh, I'm sad for it to leave or it to end, they're like excited to continue. You know what I mean? So it could just be like, we're going to continue it.
I literally feel like, like I was saying, I've never had a group program like this where it feels like really like, everyone's just saying to me, I really want to continue. What should I do? And I'm like sitting behind my phone being like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to do. It's so weird because I'm like, I feel it, but I normally am a lot more like, yep, here's what I want to do, blah, blah, blah. But like, I think I feel a bit of pressure, I guess, as well to be like, well, if we're going to continue and they're going to commit to the next 6 weeks, this has been so good. So it has to like flow into that. And yeah.
And that's fair, right? But like, if it's the same energy, it's the same people and they're already excited, I feel like it's just inevitable that it's going to be the same energy. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be just as good. It's going to be better.
Yeah.
So I would play with that. Like, just play with like, we're going to, it doesn't always have to be like, it can literally just be, we're going to continue this. If you want to stay. Like, you committed to the group or the 10 weeks and you're here and we're done. But listen, I want to continue. So if you want to continue too, it's literally just a continuation of this. Here we are.
Totally. And what do you do as well if like someone from the group program, do you ever like decide whether someone should do like one-on-one or group? Like if they, I guess it just depends on the person, right? But like, yeah.
Well, if they're asking me, like if they come, I don't go to someone and say, you should be my one-on-one. Well, I have. So here's what I will say is, if they're asking you what container to be in and you know about them, then you would probably know as a mentor, like you're going to thrive probably where you're at in one-on-one. Like you would know to suggest. So if they're asking you, yes. If I've had people in groups for a very long time that I will call certain people out and say, listen, when are you going to level up and do something higher? Like groups are like, right? And it's like, hey, I sometimes intuitively call certain people out, but I won't suggest something unless people are asking me like, Steph, what should I do? Should I do this or this? Then I'll have the conversation with someone. But, like, is there someone asking you, or do you intuitively like want to suggest something to someone?
One of the girls asked me if she could do one-on-one when it finished. But I think because I know that she would probably do the group if I suggested that to her. And I feel like that might be good because of keeping the vibe and all of that the same. But then I'm also like, oh, maybe it would be good to work with her one-on-one. But yeah, so.
You could say, I really think you should do the group. If you want to do some one-on-one calls, you could offer her like a package of one-on-one calls. So maybe it doesn't look like regular private coaching container, but maybe it's like a package of 5 or 4 or 3 or whatever, as like here's a bundle of the group and calls, something like that.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really good.
Awesome.
Right.
Anything else?
No, that's really helpful. Thank you.
Cool. Anyone else want to speak on where they're at with July? I can get into this. I'll go for it.
I don't have too much to say except like at the beginning of the month I did do the massive freak out thing, like 1,000%. Very, very, very much so. And I was just just as we're talking about it, so we, at the end of this week, we should have 80,000 New Zealand dollars for income for this month. So
Wow.
I'm really, really happy. But at the same time, like, I just have a question. So like, you know how you said like, we don't go down that road anymore, which I totally resonate with, but also I worry that I'm like just avoiding, like, what are you sort of meant to like replace it with almost? Do you know, like, do you know what I mean? I just, like, in the vibe, like obviously the vibes and stuff, and that's sort of what I held on to, is like, this is like one of the things I was telling myself is like, business is literally thousands of one-offs. So if I can have a whole lot of one-offs last month, then I can do it this month, and it doesn't have to be a rational thing. But it still is, it's so unknown, and I've been self-employed for like nearly a decade, and it's so freaking unknown. I'm like, this never goes away.
So the thing is so when I had, in May, it was the first 6-figure cash month. And I was like, whoa, like blown away. And then I came into June and it was like, I'm ready. Like, I was like, I'm ready for, like, I had the thought, but I'm like, I'm ready for it. And then the whole Black Lives Matter thing happened on the internet. And I was like, oh, this is okay. Like, this is right. Like, okay, I'm in a different vibe now. This is happening. I've got to step it back. Like, what the hell? But then all of a sudden things shifted, and it was, so whether that happened or not, the vibe for me has been, this gets to be my new standard. This gets to be the new normal. That's what I replace it with. This, if I could do it once, this is now proof that I can do it again. Because when it happened, I didn't do anything differently other than continually work on my personal power. So for me personally, and for most people, when they have a huge month, you really didn't do anything really different. Like, you didn't do anything extravagantly. You didn't, like, I don't know, hire 25 team members and then there you go. Like, you know what I mean? You didn't do anything crazy different. It happened. You attracted more money. You attracted more people. That's what you did. And what happens when we attract more is people came to you because of who you were. You had this energy. So it's like, oh wait, what was this energy that I was tapping into during this high month when people, whether people like wanted to pay you a lot or a lot of people came in, or maybe a mixture of both. What was this? And let's look at what that was, and let's hold, like, what was that feeling? So I always look at, because Nez says, should we be learning something from lower months? I always look back at my month, like what really, really worked, and worked in terms of like results, like money, clients, programs, like what was really good, but also why did it work? And most of the times it worked because your energy was in it. Your vibe was in it. So for me, May was a vibe. So I'm like, if I could just keep up with this vibe, this personal power, this energy, this, what am I doing? I'm working through things faster. I'm not letting things mean things that don't mean things. I'm keeping the vibe up here, squeaky clean energy as much as I can. Then I'm going to keep working on that. If that's what it is, that's what it is. Is this resonating? So it's like, yeah. Who were you in May? What happened in May? What was the vibe in May? Okay. Where did I fall in June? Did I let things mean things? Did I start to go down this other hole? Where was my mindset? Instead of it being here on this road in May, and now in June we went here, we went here. How can I avoid from going all the way down this road? You know what I mean? Yeah. That's really what it is. Like, yes, it makes sense if, so for example, I always think back to this. In January, I paid Melanie $100,000 in full. Could you imagine if one person paid you $100,000 in full, you would have $100,000 month, day, second. Like, it takes 1 second for everything to change. That was like, and I remember she posted about that. It took 1 second for this amount to come in. That can happen. You know what I mean? So it's like, whoa, it takes 1 second to readjust energy, to readjust your mindset, for one person to come into your inbox, for one person to want to pay in full, for one person to whatever. It takes that short of time for magic to happen. And when we remind ourselves of that, you can turn your month around now. It's the 22nd, 23rd for some of you. You can turn your month around in a second with realigning your energy. And that's a huge shift that I've had in my business that has changed everything, because the strategies, the things that I do are the same, but it's just reworking up here that has created magic. Feeling this? Yeah.
Oh yes, thank you.
You're welcome. It's an inner game. It's an inner game. At a certain level, you know how to sell. You know what to do. And it gets you here. But then there's like new levels of mindset that get you up and up and up, and it's all inner work. It's all inner work. You know how to sell. You know how to post. You know how to do the things. Like, yes, there's always questions of how to do better. But when it gets to a certain level, it's like, now it's about controlling up here and looking at what's going on up here. That's where we step into something big. Cool. Does anyone want to chime in? Camilla, I noticed you unmuted earlier. I wasn't sure if you wanted to share.
Yeah, no, I don't even remember exactly what I was gonna say, but but I'm listening, and it's all resonating with me.
Amazing. Okay. I just
Sure.
didn't know if you wanted to share or not. It's all good.
Yeah,
And
thank
Sam,
you.
I know you're muted and off the video, so I can't see. I don't know if people are just like listening before I keep going. And while I wait, if Sam chimes in, I'm going to go to the thread because there's some good things on the thread. Okay. So speak on channeling and harnessing confidence into posts. Some people are like, yeah, okay. Kids aren't feeling good. Oh, I'm sorry. Sending all the love to the kiddos. Okay. So here's what I have found. And I know you were on, I know some of you actually, maybe, I don't know if most of you watched yesterday's, my masterclass. So here's what I find. There comes a point where people, actually it's an inner game. You just claim that you're the shit, essentially, that you're the expert in this. And when you energetically carry that, people feel it. So there comes a point where in your posts, it's really less of trying to show people that you're the expert, that you know this, that, it's XYZ, that here's the tips and blah, blah, blah. And it's it's the vibe. You carry a vibe and a confidence in what you're saying. So sometimes if you're someone who likes to write long posts, there's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes less is more. Sometimes less is more. And I've found that, you guys saw me read the post that was the 10K post. It was it didn't really say much, but it was less is more, boom, boom, boom. But sometimes what happens when we lose confidence in our posts and channeling and blah, 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 is we sit there and what am I going to say? You sit there and you're like, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? You're and it's that's not the energy. The best posts actually usually happen when you aren't even planning on doing a post. When you're doing something and you're boom, I have an idea. And that's when you need to say it, or at least put it in your notes or voice note it to yourself. There have been many times, going off topic a little bit, that I have picked up my phone and voice noted something, and it was this is a podcast episode, boom, because I need to say this now. I need to get this out now. You know what I'm saying? So in my opinion, confidence in posts and getting it out in a bold, very unique way is just in the moment when you're feeling it, say it. Say it how you're thinking it. And when you have 2 margaritas, it's so the day, and I didn't say it on the masterclass, but I'll say it here, you guys can wrap me up. I was down a couple of drinks of champagne, and I was I've got something to say. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, vibes, right? I mean, if you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. No, but the thing is, I want to, if you were saying it to me, you wouldn't hold back. If you were saying it here, you wouldn't hold back what you have to say. But sometimes we get in our heads of I need to say it this way. I need to say it this way. What's the perfect way for me to say it? So my ideal client, what are the pain points? What are the blah, blah, blah? You know what I mean? Whereas now it's what's the energy? What am I thinking? What do I have to say? I'm not going to question if someone gets it or not. I'm just going to say it. That's honestly the vibe of it. Right? And so I don't know if any of you resonate to this. I know some other clients do, is they look at what everyone else is doing and how they're saying it and how they're doing it. I'm stop with that. Get in your tunnel vision. Here, It's just you. You got the power. You have the perfect words. You have the perfect thoughts. You have the perfect whatever for the perfect person to read it and resonate and be like, bam, yes. That's what it needs to be.
I think for me, the confidence, and that really helps. As soon as, like, I've written a couple of posts recently, like in the last week, and I'm like, I had that confidence, like, I'm the shit. But I kind of have this complex, and I'm 99% sure it's just mindset, but like about letting that out, because for like up until like 2 years ago, I was the most unconfident, unshy person like I've ever really met. And like now I get comments from people like, oh, you're so confident, but I'm like, I still feel like I don't say the things like with the snappy, that's the best way I can describe it, like the snappy power that I want to, because I'm like, I think I'm still probably hiding a little bit. I think I'm still hiding some of my confidence that I do have within myself, because I'm like,
So
it's like a reverse ego.
What's the fear? When we hide, there's a fear. What's the fear of you fully showing up?
Yeah, that I'll piss people off, so other people's opinions. Yeah.
That you'll make people mad? That's what it is?
Oh, yeah, and triggering as well. Yeah.
So the things that you have to say and the way you have to say it is going to trigger some people because they don't like the way you say it.
Yeah, it's always, that's right. I've been going through this last year. It was that I would trigger their internal fear. And like, I've been raised and brought up to like, you just try and carefully pass through and not knock people over. Like, you be very polite, and you're like, and now I'm like, wait, but I'm a boss ass bitch. This is not working anymore. Like, yeah.
So here's the thing though. What happens why is someone triggered? In my opinion, you're doing them a favor if you're triggering them, because it's bringing up something in them, but that always doesn't always come off. Because what happens if we trigger someone, then they're on your post and they're like, I'm mad at that you wrote this, or you know what I mean? Then it starts a war or whatever. Like sometimes we're afraid of that. But the thing is, if we trigger someone, it's bringing up something in them that needs to be brought up. And that's doing them a service.
I actually love to be triggered as well. Like, I hate it, but I love it. Like, I'm like, just imagine your client like that. Imagine everyone reading it is like that. I think that's like going to be a big thing. Yeah.
So it's like, honestly, the best posts that I've made are ones that just come to me and I don't look at it and overthink it and overread it. Like, oh, would this be good? Are they going to like this? No, it's just like, boom, done. No overthinking, no editing, no whatever. It's just out there energy. This is what I feel. This is what I have to say. Like, say it as if you're talking to it, like us in here. Saying it as if you were ranting to your husband. Say it as if you know what I mean? Like, say it in that way, because honestly, there's a lot of just like boring content, and it's because everyone is like, I gotta be like this, I gotta be perfect, I gotta be perfect. So when we just express ourselves however we want to express it, we're gonna stand out. And one, just because we're being us and no one else is you, right? So when you say it your way, people are gonna be like, ooh, that's a fresh perspective. Ooh, I like that. Oh, damn, she said it. I was thinking it. She said it. Okay, I like her. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, like the magic you can create when you just let it go with whatever it is that you want to say. It's working. It's working on it, because it is scary, because we don't want people to not like us, or we don't want to hurt people's feelings or whatever. But the thing is, someone needs to hear it your way. And that also means some people are not going to like the way you have to say it. We have to be okay with that if we want to reach the people who want to hear it the way that we have to say it. There's going to be people who love, there's going to be people who hate.
And those posts that I did do, that was like the most boss ass bitch version of myself. I had massive engagement and no hate, like, at all. So I'm like, let the shit go right now.
There's no one there ready to hate on us, but we make it up, like all those haters you have on Facebook, like, which are none. You know?
They don't exist. Yeah.
The people in your head that you made up.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
I just have this belief popping up of not showing up on social media until I've responded to text message, because people are gonna be so mad. You're on social media, but you didn't text me back. Well, that's your job. That's what you need to let go of that. Huge. So actually, sometimes this is the thing. I used to have a fear of if my clients see me on Facebook, but I haven't responded to them. But the thing is, I have a mentor who doesn't respond to me in 24 hours, 48 hours. She's on Facebook. I'm not mad. You know what I mean? So it's like my client, you know what I mean? It's just like we make up, oh, these fears, these thoughts that just aren't true. But I don't respond to messages. My job is first. My social media is first, depending what it is. But it's your job, right? I totally get that. So is that helpful for a lot of us? I feel like it's so easy to hold back on social media. It is. But it's just like, say it how you want to say it. Yeah. Okay. Nez said you're doing your taxes for this year and you made around 10K more than last year, which is great. And you made a total of 90K last financial year. That's amazing. That's amazing. But I want to leap big time. Would love to hear your thoughts on this. So the thoughts of leaping big. Yeah. So here's the thing. A lot of us believe it has to be like this, slow and steady up. It can be like this and jump. The people, in my opinion, that go from this to big jumps are the people that decide it doesn't have to be slow and steady. It's like it can be an unrealistic jump. So you've got to decide in your mind first, it can be an unrealistic jump. It doesn't need to be slow and steady or whatever. Because there's a lot of people that say, it's going to take a really long time to start to get blah, blah, blah. And it's like, also there's people who are like, you know what? It can be unrealistic. It cannot make sense. So it's like you decide what your belief system is. So if you want a big jump, you've got to believe that it can happen. And two, I don't want to say you've got to do things that are different, but you've got to do things that are different. So it's like what got you to 90? And then it's like, what's going to get you to like the big jump? So it's not that you have to do more. It's not like more hustle, but it's like, what got me here? Amazing. What do I want to keep doing? And what do I need to release? It's kind of like what we talked about before. What do I need to release for the jump to happen? And what do I want to step into? Hello, cutie, for the jump to happen. Right? It's like that. Oh my God. So adorable. So adorable. Oh my God. I'm distracted. So, I've got a delivery truck here for my new office. I'll catch the rest on replay. No worries. That's exciting to see your new office. I want to see the things. Okay. So a jump comes, in my opinion, when we lead ourselves powerfully, people follow. So a jump happens in our business with money, with clients following when we are leading our lives. So for example, I like to use examples. In 2018, when I had my first jump, I was like, there's no more holding back. I'm doing like a rebrand. I'm going to stand out. Like I was like in a box and I stepped out of the box and I showed people the journey of that. So I took people on the ride and people were like, whoa, okay, what is Steph doing? And I wasn't even doing business coaching yet. It was just like, I'm done hiding. I'm stepping out. Like, this is what I want. I want it to be bright. I want it to be fun. It was like a new photo shoot. It was a new vibe, all the things. People were watching. So you have to we always need to look at, I always look at myself. How am I leading my life? How am I leading my finances? How am I leading my personal development? How am I leading the way that I show up? How am I leading my clients? How am I leading everything in my life? Like, am I walking powerfully? Am I doing the quote unquote work? And when I say work, it's more so like the mindset work. So I would look at any things that you got to 90K and that's pretty incredible. Like that's next level. But it's also look back at like, what are some thoughts that are holding me back? What are limiting beliefs that are holding me back? What are ideas around how I have to run business that is holding me back? Like look at what is working and you want to bring with you and what's no longer serving you that you need to work on getting rid of. And it's both strategy and mindset. So it's like when we get to a new level, yes, we need to look at like, what do I want to sell? What are my pricing? Do I want to increase my prices? Like these all things matter and contribute to our success. So sometimes a new level means new pricing, new one-on-one coaching pricing or up levels in terms of that. Sometimes it means, you know, not doing certain things in your business, not selling certain things anymore, like goodbye to that, only hello to new level, right? In terms of strategy and business structure. But more so, it's like really looking at who do I want to be? How am I leading my life? And how am I leading my life in a way that I'm calling in people to lead their life as well? It really is. And it's like a huge thing around personal power. When we're like powerful, and I don't mean power over other people, I mean like in our power, confident, this is me, this is what I'm doing, people are like, boom, magnetized. Like then that's when more clients come. So it's like really just like looking at yourself and saying, if I want to play it in this big new level, if I want this big jump, who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? And it's never like I need to change. It's like, it's just becoming more you. Does that make sense? It's one of those things that's like, it's like hard to explain. It's a feeling. It's a feeling. And when you're in it, sometimes you don't even know that you're doing it until it happens. You're like, whoa, it happened. And then you're like, how did it happen? You don't even know how to explain how it happened. So it's like, you could feel that this week. Yeah. So it's like, trust what you're doing, even if you don't know if it's working yet. Trust your intuition. Trust the big steps that you're taking. Trust having courage, right? Is faith without knowing, in my opinion. Trusting without knowing what's going to happen. That is you saying, I'm going to go, even though I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to go. I'm going to see what's going to happen from this. That's the magic, because it instills confidence in you. You show up differently, and then people are just like magnetized to you. But it all comes internally. Does that make sense? And honestly, that the process of that happens, in my opinion, over and over and over again if we are people who want to keep growing and growing and growing. Because it's like right now I'm like, okay, I'm 6 figures months, 3 months in a row. Cool, like this is fun, but wait, what's next? And then I'm like, oh shit, what is next? Like multiple 6-figure, how the hell am I gonna do that? Like I look at people then like Melanie, Amanda Francis, like $500,000 months. I don't know. Like how, like, you know what I mean? But it literally is all of this, but more. You get better at this with each growth. It's like the same thing, but you get better at it. It's like the same thing, but you get better at it. That's really what it is. And trusting. It's like there comes a point where it's like, I'm unavailable for not growing. I'm unavailable for going backwards. So if I'm unavailable for that, there's only one way. And even if you don't feel it or you see it, you're still like, I'm going that way. And it's the only way. And when that's your energy behind everything you do, you're going to grow inevitably. And that's why there are going to be months where you're high and then, oops, I went down. Doesn't mean you're going backwards. It's like, I'm still growing. It's like this, ups and downs. You know what I mean? So the big leap is like a big mindset, is like a big, I'm done with this and I'm stepping into new. And it's just like, this is what I'm here for. Big leaps. Let's do it. Unrealistic goals, unrealistic jumps that people are like, you did what? Like, be the one who's abnormal. That's the vibe. That's the energy of it. I wish I had well, you just do this and you just do this and then boom. But it's really just like aligning with what you want. Do you want to chime in?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, when I had my big month last month, it was like, it felt wild. Like I was just like, oh, I can't believe this happened. And there was definitely like a little bit of shame around it, because I felt like I've said on this mastermind, it is abnormal. Out of all of my friends, no one made that money that I did. And like, I guess I felt a bit of shame around it, because I was like, oh, like, you know, everyone else is struggling, or like everyone else hates their job, and like I get to be like this and it's awesome, and all of those kinds of things. So I think it's just like really owning it is going to be a big thing for me, and just being like, yeah, I do know what I'm talking about, and I do have something really amazing to offer, and just like, yeah, owning it. And I feel like that's going to be part of my power.
Yeah. next level confidence. And sometimes we fear that because, oh, are people going to think I'm cocky or like whatever, or braggy or blah, blah, blah. But it's not that vibe. It's the just like, you know, when like someone walks in a room and you're like, whoa, like, I don't know who this person is, but like they've got it going on. It's like that. It's like you hold yourself differently. You carry yourself differently. It's like, it's not like, look at me, I'm the best. It's just like, you know you are, and you don't need to say it, you know? But also for you, because, you know, a lot of people who are business coaches, you want to share the income. So you share it because it's like, wow, okay, I want to be in her energy. I want to be in that vibe. But you're not selling business coaching. So your goals are more personal. So just make sure too that like you can be unapologetic about your business and money and financial goals. And I know that you were struggling with this, like your partner and your friends and whatever, like it's okay. Like this is why being in like these containers to be around other women who get it is so powerful and so important. But also like, you know what? It's okay to be that one friend who's like making this amount and your other friends are down here. Like it's okay. It's just be like, you worked for this. You created this yourself. So it's we don't want to hide that. Like you did that, and that's amazing. So don't let like other people's energy bring you down, even if they're not like trying to bring you down. You know what I mean? They just don't understand it. Don't let that bring you down. You hold it no matter what. You hold your desire no matter what. No one else is holding it for you. You hold it up here no matter what. You own it. You're like, this is what I want. I'm going to do it. You don't need the validation from your friends or your family or whoever. Like you've got it in you no matter what. Someone didn't give you the desire to want what you want. You have it. So like we got to carry it, you know?
Yeah, so true. I feel like, yeah, it's interesting though, because I feel like even in the past week, like last week and stuff, I've been feeling quite like powerful, but I think I'm just in that like shifting phase still where I'm like letting go of the old and coming into the new. So, and it's also been tricky this week because it's like being in your power and being in your element, but like being sick. Like I've just been very, and I'm like, you know, because I got tested on Monday, so I have to isolate till I get the results and all of those kinds of things. So it's just been a little bit of like a weird week. But like you said, the last week of July, who knows what can happen. So I'm excited.
Yes, that's the vibe. That's the vibe. You know what? And I love just sharing this kind of stuff with like my private clients or mastermind vibes is last year. So it's going to be a year on Monday of my 1 year wedding anniversary. I remember last July being like, I'm getting married. How am I supposed to make money and get married in the same month? Like I was freaking out about business. Meanwhile, I was having like the best day of my life. You know what I mean? I remember like, and that it's so sad that I remember that, like going through it, but I laugh about it, thinking back that like I was stressed about it of like, how am I going to keep growing my business in July? But I've got to like get my wedding dress. I've got to fly. Oh, God forbid, I've got to fly to the Bahamas to get married. Like I'm stressed about all these things, but I was stressed to keep my business going. But you know what? I look back on that month and I'm like, that was the best like week of my life getting married in this time. And it wasn't the highest month of the year, but it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's like, bring yourself back to life sometimes, to what matters, right? And it's like, it's just, and the reason I bring this up is because this July, like Eric and I are going away for like the weekend to celebrate. And it's like, it's so chill. You know what I mean? It's like, you can have both inevitably, but also don't forget to live. If living is up here and you want to live 1 month and your income isn't up here, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? But know that you can live and your income can be up here. Don't rule out the possibility of having both. You can have both, but don't forget to live while you're building this, because you're not going to look back in your life and be like, oh, like, or you don't want to look back in your life and be like, yeah, like all of 2020 I just worked, but I made a lot of money, but like, yeah, I just like worked. You didn't live. This is, we do this so we can live and have the freedom and the life we want, and it's so important. And once you tap into the energy and knowing you can have both, you get to create both, and it's an incredible thing. But yes, so many up level vibes. Any other thoughts on that? There was one other question on the feed that Anna asked. Anna's not here, but she'll catch the replay. she asks, I guess she's asking me, what does alignment feel like to you? Oh, with all the good questions, Anna. So this is what alignment feels like to me. It feels light. It feels flowy. It feels fun. It feels effortless. It feels like it just feels light. It feels light and it feels effortless, and it feels like doing whatever that is that feels light and effortless is bringing me results. That's when I'm in alignment. So alignment doesn't feel pressure vibes, doesn't feel needy vibes, doesn't feel like I hate doing this vibes. It feels like this is right where I need to be. Right? And so just as an example, like I feel, and this is how I really encourage people to build your business in a way that you love, so you always are in love with what you're doing for the most part, right? Like sometimes it's hard, sometimes you're sick, sometimes you're tired, like things happen. But like, that's why I created, just as an example, my community the way it is, like these fun big master classes, and let's do giveaways, and bunch of people are going to be on, and it's a vibe and it's a thing. And yeah, I sell at the end, but the thing is, I'm so here, like in love with what I'm doing, that I even forget that I'm selling. There's no pressure around it. Like, let's create a vibe. Let's get people tagging. Let's have a party. It's like, I'm in love with it, and it feels light and it feels fun, and I get results because of it. That to me is alignment. So I think we can all feel that way, but the way that we do it is different for everybody, because we run our businesses differently. So what lights you up is different than what lights someone else up, but that's okay. So when we're tapped into that energy, we're in alignment for results, because we're literally like, this is where I'm meant to be. This is what I'm meant to be doing here. Boom, done. That's why, when you hear people say, oh, I went on a trip and I made $1 million, or I had a bath and I signed 5 clients, and you're like, how the hell did you do that? And you're like, I'm hustling, trying to get clients. Because you're hustling, you're not in alignment. If someone's in alignment, doing what they do, doing the things in their business, and then they go live their life, of course they're going to go see results while they're living their life, because what they did in their business was in alignment. Does that make sense? So, I always laugh when people are like, I had a bath and I made $10,000 or whatever. It's like, hey, but what you actually did was in your business, but you did it in an aligned way. Then you went and had a bath, and then you saw the results. You know what I mean? But when we're forcing things, when it's icky, when it's pressure, when it's needy, when I have to, when you're chasing, anything that feels heavy is not alignment, in my opinion. And that's also like auditing what you're doing in your business. So if you're doing things in your business that you could be outsourcing that cause you to feel heavy, that you could get someone else to do, is like, maybe it's time to outsource things. So I'm a fan of, like, we should always be in our power, like coach, like, right? Like, you are in your power coaching on your calls. Like, I would never outsource personally content. I love writing content, creating content. There's certain things that maybe you should outsource, like editing or emails or whatever it is, you know what I mean? That make you feel like, oh, I don't want to do this. If we get to choose what we want to do in our life, we get to choose what we do, like the little things in our business. So it's like, outsource when you're out of alignment as well, in my opinion. But does that make sense for you ladies who are on live? Like, to me, it just should feel like, oh my gosh, like, this feels good. Like, ending your day feeling like that was amazing. That's how it should feel. But the thing is, sometimes it takes a process to get there, to fully get there. You're still figuring out what does alignment feel like for me? We test things out, right? And I think it's all as we are growing, because everyone in here is doing personal development work. You're in here, I know you're doing something plus more of the other things that you're doing. So as we grow, I feel like our alignment changes. So what aligned with me a year ago no longer aligns with me now, because and that's part of what we're talking about, the growth. Certain clients don't align with me even from 3 months ago to where I am now. It's like, this doesn't work. So we need to be okay with, like, as we're shifting and growing, what feels good is going to change. And that sometimes is what brings up, like, grief. Like, you no longer align, quote unquote, align So for example, I'm bringing up all the examples. If I'm ranting, let me know. But I had a client who was with me for over 2 years. So that means over 2 years ago, we aligned. Boom. And we aligned. I no longer align with her as a coach. She no longer aligns with me as a coach, or I no longer align with her as a client. Like both ways, it doesn't mesh. And it feels light that it ended. Like I'm like, oh yes, like this feels good, but it also feels sad. It was someone who was in my life that I talked to every week, talked to almost every day. Like that's sad. So it, you know how it's like grieving, but at the same time, this is right that it ended, because the level of people that are coming in my world now are very different. So it's like, I know I'm aligning with something new, which means also getting rid of what doesn't align. And even if it doesn't align, doesn't mean it's bad. Like relationships don't need to end on bad terms. Things don't need to end in a bad way. It's just like, I still love you. Relationship isn't the same anymore. I love you. Cool. Split. You know what I mean? So as we grow, we change how we want to run our business. We change who we want to work with. We change prices. So many things change. And it's like, it's even like saying goodbye to old prices feels scary. You're like, I want to charge this. I'm no longer here. And then you do it and you're like, oh my God, what? It's like a phase of a new price. It's a phase of calling in a new client. It's a phase of running your business a certain way. And the phase is an adjustment. And the adjustment part kind of sucks. But it's worth it to get to the part that feels really good. Make sense? Okay. Anything else coming up?
I had something come up. Sorry.
You go, Camille. Was that Camilla?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You go.
Okay, thank you. No, what you just said just really resonated with me, Steph, because I feel like I'm at a stage in my business, in July has felt this way. Like it's felt so good and like yummy. And there's been so many things that are actually falling into place that feel so aligned. And I'm grinding. I'm working a lot. I'm working really hard and I'm doing a lot of things, you see. So it's like a lot of things that I feel that maybe someone else can do. But, and I think this is a mindset thing, I feel that because I'm at this stage in the business where I'm building so many things, I need to do it all myself. And if I'm not doing it all myself, then I'm not really taking care of all the things that I know that I should be taking care of. So I'm feeling a bit tired. Mm-hmm. And I'm feeling like so many things feel really awesome, but also it's like, oh shit, I need like a 36-hour day.
So what are some things that you're doing all the things? Are there things that you're like, okay, I'm not using my energy in the best doing this way?
Like graphics. Like graphics, because I think that I'm starting to get more and more and more clarity, and I delegate that. Like I've delegated it to other people, and then I'm like, but I don't really like that. So then I'm becoming like really good at it. I'm not a graphic designer by any stretch of the imagination, but the better I get at it and the more I like it, the more I want to do it. But then it's like, hello, there's 75 other things right here that need to get done that are actually really important. Like this is fun and it's pretty, but this is not where your energy should really like be right now.
So the thing is sometimes it comes to a point of training other people how to do it your way. You know what I mean? Like your energy does not need to be spent on Canva or Photoshop for hours. You know what I mean? Like, but you could take the time to work with someone and be like, this is the style, this is the vibe, we're going to get it. You're the one going to be doing it, but I'm going to train you for what it's going to look like. Yeah.
Do you have a recommendation for someone? The girl that I've been working with literally for years and years and years, she's great, but now with COVID, she has, I think 6 kids, maybe 5 or 6. She has 2 sets of twins. They're all really little. She has 2 sets of twin boys and then a little girl. She is busy. And she's like, just this week, she's like, I'm so sorry. She was like crying. She's like, I don't know what to do. I'm having conversations with my husband because this is like ruining my business. And I'm so far behind on things for you. And I'm like, don't worry about it. Like, we're totally good. I absolutely get it. But I can tell in the quality of the stuff that she's been producing that it's not the same. And I think it's because her mind is somewhere else, and she's going to have these kids with her like for an indefinite amount of time. And so I don't know, like I don't want some guy who's just going to like run some graphics and doesn't really like get it. I don't know. Do you?
Yeah, Shauna Polisiana does mine. If anyone if anyone has graphic designers, do you know Shauna, Camilla?
No.
Okay. Let me I'll pop her name in the chat. And Polisiani, I always like screw up her last name. But the thing is, oops, that's not what I wanted to copy and paste. The thing is, so you can add her as a friend, message her, look at her website. But the thing is with her, and I always put a little warning, is you have to be like, well, she's changing things now, but if you need something by a certain date, like you need to say, this is when I need something, or there have been times where I'm like chasing her. So I tell people that because I don't want to refer someone and they are like mad because they're not getting their thing on time.
Sure.
But she has if you go to our website, like check her out, whatever. She has a thing. So that's where I get all my banners done, like my new program graphics. And she has a thing where if you want it rushed, as in she'll do it within 24 hours, you pay extra, she'll always have it on time. But if it's just like a chat, like, could you get this by this date? It's like, there needs to be like, for me, and that's why the 24-hour payment thing is there. It's like an energetic exchange. Like they paid for it, they're going to get it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So Shauna is the only person that I recommend because she's the only person that I've used. But I'm curious if anyone else wants to recommend someone, if they work with anyone, feel free to share. But that's
someone, and I can throw it in the group on the Facebook group. But her name is Lane, and she's done my recent ones, and I think she does a fantastic job. So I'll add that in as another resource.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much, ladies. Yeah, and so I'll continue working on also just like this mindset of like, I'm so used to grinding and working hard, like in my life, up until, maybe 4 or 5 years ago that I started doing coaching and that I started doing sales and understanding how much sales is about alignment and not like work and hustle. But like, if you work a certain amount, then there's like a result, right? There's a very masculine way of thinking, super masculine. It's like you put in this amount of effort and then you get this other result at the end. It's just obvious.
Yeah.
And this work is like really nothing like that. Although, however, I am building a lot of new things right now. I'm doing a lot of I'm working with a couple different coaches and doing a couple different things right now, or a lot of different things. So yeah, I think just like giving myself, and I give myself a lot of grace. Like I meditate, I work out, I get enough sleep. I'm doing all those things and I'm still finding that I'm really tired. And if I feel that I'm this tired, something isn't really as aligned.
Yep. And the thing is, I want to remind you that like whatever you get some kind of spark this month that's like things are happening, things are moving, you're finding a vibe, you're doing a lot. And this is also a huge realization of like, this is working. We hit some golden nuggets here. We're going to keep it, but we're also going to fix what's not working. And what's not working is being tired and burnt out and doing everything. So the fact that you're fixing it before it gets like a half a year of doing this is better than, you know what I mean? Than ending 2020 being like, well, I spent half the year being burnt out doing everything, right? So it's like you're catching it quick, which is amazing. But I really want to highlight and congratulate the vibe that like you found something in this month that lit some fire under your butt, and no wonder you want to work and do the things. But we got to do things in a way that you've got the energy to be in your power when you're showing up in the ways that you need to show up.
Got it. Yes. And thank you. Absolutely. And it's exciting because I love doing this stuff. So like, I want to do more of it, and I don't know, I'm a manifesting generator. I work. I like it.
Yeah.
But I also have to give myself a lot of grace. Also, my health really demands it. I do have a bit of a chronic condition situation that I have to, manage. And if I don't, like, I almost feel like when I was diagnosed with this thing 6 years ago, it was almost like a gift that came to my life, so that I'm not always, running so like fast, and then my body can't really catch up to like all the ideas that are in my brain and all the things, all the, yeah. So it's a reminder for me, and then my body lets me know that. Now I'm feeling it right now a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's huge realizations. And the thing is though, like if you still like to do some graphics, do some graphics. You know what I mean? It's just like know when your body is like, whoa, I need to stop before it goes too far. You know what I mean? Because I believe, like, I'm like you too, like, I love to do things. I love to work. I love to be busy, but there's a point where it's like, hey, whoa, we need to stop now. Like, now's the time to stop, So it's like finding the balance where you can still give yourself what you love, because you love to work. So keep doing the things, but know your limit. I think that's like, know the limit and know when to say no. And then having the backbone of people to rely on to help you is really important too.
Yeah, definitely.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
All right. Any final thoughts tonight? Next week is our last call. It's freaking insane. 6 weeks, end of July. I don't know where life is going. It is crazy. Oh my God. But what I will say is we can bring it. We can bring it. We can bring a new vibe. We can bring it. So bring what you want to bring to the end of July in here and in your business, in your life, in your world. Like, you can finish off this month in a way that you're like, damn, I'm proud of how I showed up. With no pressure vibes, but alignment vibes, having fun, deciding what you want to end the month with and bring more into in August. Kenny, did you want to chime in?
No, just love it. I love it. I'm here for it. I'm here to bring it. Excited about it. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. So if there's nothing else, then Nez, what's up?
I was just going to say one thing, because I'm spending all this time at home, obviously. I feel like when I'm posting something, I'm getting in that energy of like checking things all the time, which I wasn't really doing, up until this week. So I was just wondering what your tips are if like you're not that busy, or like I just have a lot of time to like post something and be a little bit more chill and like, yeah, because it's just easy. I'm just like at home all the time. So yeah.
So this is where I know you're at home, so it's like harder, but like, what do you do besides business? And don't worry if you don't have an answer. Most people, they're like, shit, wait. So but I know when you're sick, it's another thing, but it's like, okay, when you're watching the show on Netflix, you're not on your phone. When you're chilling and relaxing and doing whatever, having a bath, boom, not on your phone. You know what I mean? It's like, if your house is your work and your work is your house, it's hard to separate the two. But for your mindset, you've got to find some kind of thing. So it's like, if you need to create boundaries for yourself, if you need to say, when I'm doing this for me time and not business, there's no sprinkling business as in checking messages or checking the phone in there. So it's just saying, like, because it's so easy to say, I'm just going to pick up the phone and just check the thing. It's just the thing, but it takes up more up here mental space than it does taking time. Right? So we think, oh, it just takes a second, but it's taking away from your time doing not businessy things. So it really is just like saying, I'm going to separate the two. I don't need to check it right now. That message doesn't need to be, responded to right now. That comment or whatever, like, it can wait. It's really just saying, like, that's a huge boundary actually too. I'm glad you brought this up. It's just coming to me when we're scaling and we're up leveling. To want more and receive more is like, can you handle more? And if you're like overwhelmed with things and always checking things, that's going to get too overwhelming at one point. So creating the boundaries is a huge thing in with client messages, with checking your social media. That's a huge thing too. Think about.
Yeah. That's helpful.
Cool. Okay. Well, I will see you ladies in the chat, and then I'll see you ladies the same time next week, and all the vibes. So bring it. Let's bring it. Bring it. Okay? Have a good evening, morning if you're on the other side of the world. And I will talk to you guys soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye, ladies.
You're welcome.